Hello, clay volunteers. Today we are learning how to make a Christmas tree votive. So what we are going to do is we're going to take a lump of clay and we're going to make sure we have our other supplies. So we have a pencil to help with our details, a straw to make holes in our Christmas tree votive, and our stencils. So the stencils we have a simple circle, and then the kids can choose from two different tree shapes, and pretty much they're going to fit like this when the clay pieces are cut. So we are going to start with rolling and flipping our clay. And with the kids, we want to just remind them to roll and flip and roll and flip. If they get too crazy and rolling, they get too much into rolling on one side. The clay sometimes, depending upon how wet it is, will stick. Kaya, do you want to sit with Ellie and watch me do this project? Okay.
Mom, that truck is way too cool.
Which I know, it's super cool, right, Kaya? Okay, so I have helpers here today. So you just want to roll it flat, and we just tell the kids that they can judge the thickness with their finger. So it's just kind of like that. I mean, it's with their little fingers. It should be pretty much pancake thickness. You guys, I'm going to ask that you not play with those, okay? Because I don't want them to break. Thank you. And so the next part is we're going to go ahead and lay down our stencils and just have the kids cut all the way around like this.
Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to my camera, making an instructional how-to video.
Ew.
Yeah. And so that's going to be the base of our tree. And then we can go ahead and pick a shape and just have the kids, they can do this with a toothpick or a pencil. You just instruct them that they want to go all the way through the clay when they're using the stencil. But when they're doing the details, they want to just press very lightly with the toothpick or the pencil. Okay, so there is our two shapes that we're going to start with. Okay, so we have our Christmas tree shape. Oops. And then we have our base. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is have the kids write their name and room number and the year on the bottom. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And that's just when things are going in and out of the kiln. We have, hundreds of pieces. It just helps us make sure that each piece finds their home. And then I've got like a piece of hay stuck in this one. Okay. And then we are ready to start designing. So you can do whatever you like, whatever kind of designs the kids want to do. They can write messages to their parents. A lot of teachers use these as gifts. I'm going to start with making some holes in my votive. And that just kind of helps let the light shine through. You can use smaller diameter straws as well. That kind of switches up the feel a little bit, which is nice. Let's see if we got all of these open. Okay, so that's going to be the holes for the lights to shine through, because we're going to have a candle on the other side, and so it'll be really pretty. So next, you can take a toothpick or a sharpened pencil And you can just kind of do whatever kind of designs you like. You guys doing dress up, Kaya? Okay, and that's kind of what one side will look like. And then some kids even like to do a star on the top, which I think works out really cute too. And you can just kind of freehand that. Some of our kids got really creative with that this year. So the one thing you want to do with the star is the next step, we're going to be putting all of our pieces together. Just going to give this a little design. Let me just get a little bit of water for this step. And so, sorry, you also want to have a little thing of water for the kids. So the next step that we're going to do is we're going to be attaching all the pieces together. So when you're, with the clay, when it's wet like this, you want it to hold hands in a sense. So you kind of score it, or you can call it hashtagging, but you kind of basically break the surface of the clay like that. And then whatever piece is going to attach there, you want to do the same. So we're going to break the surface of the clay here like that. And then you just take one little drop of water is enough to get these pieces to marry. Just do a nice little press. And then that should be done. So the next thing we want to do is score up the bottom piece like this. This is going to be the base of our votive. Some kids will like to write their name or a little message on the inside. And we're going to actually just take this piece here and we're going to score up this side like that. Okay, if that makes sense. And then again, we're just going to wet that edge and wet this edge like that. And then we're ready to marry them together like this. So my piece looks like it's a little top heavy. So if that's the case, you can always have, here, let me move it back so you can kind of get a sense of what it looks like. So you can always lay it down to dry for a day like this, and then after a day it will stiffen up, because with really fresh clay like this, sometimes it's a little bit hard to get it to stay in the shape that you want. This is pretty much what the finished product will look like. So you just want it to dry. So I'm actually, because this is, I made the stencil a little bit too big. The stencils we have at school are smaller. So I'm just going to let it dry laying down for a day, and then I will stand it up. Within a day it will stiffen, but the whole drying process pretty much takes a week. So the reason you want to have it dry standing up is that you want to make sure that the piece is not too top heavy, and that when it's in the position it dries, it fully dries, that it actually will stand up and balance correctly. Because sometimes if you let them dry laying down, this part will fold down, and then you'll have a piece that kind of is dried like that. So you are going to lay it down to dry. You just want to let it dry for maybe a day to stiffen up a touch. And that's pretty much Christmas tree votives.